second interview with Wendy Wright, the owner and proprietor of Get Funky Gifts, right off of Sargent Road, right by the mall, next to Verizon and Fairway. And yeah, we're going to sit down and have a little interview, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her business here. So let's get started. Wendy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You mind just telling us a little bit about yourself? Where you're from, kind of?
I grew up here in Sioux City, east of Leeds, and the old days, you know, when your parents didn't give you a ride everywhere and you just kind of entertained yourself. I was that era, and went to school.
We don't have to say exactly when.
So, yeah, grew up, went to school here, got married, had children at a young age, and then I became a real estate appraiser. I had moved away and come back. And
where'd you move to?
first to Phoenix,
Okay.
and then to Nebraska, different towns in Nebraska. And you know, you have kids and you want them to know their grandparents, and so
Back to
it
good old
brings a
Sioux
lot
City.
of us back
Yeah.
to Sioux City, yes. And yes, so then I think I took a temp job the first day that we had moved back, and it happened to be at a real estate company. And I worked as a temp there, and just was always asking anybody if they had anything for me to do, because sitting there made the day go long if you didn't have something to do. And the appraiser there, I got to know him, and he ended up training me to be an appraiser later. And so I've done that for a long time, and got kind of, I don't know, I guess, you know, discontent, was wanting something more,
Sure.
and ended up wanting to stay in Sioux City, but have, you know, do something else too, and ended up going shopping and wanting more, and ended up opening the store.
Okay. Yeah. So you still do real estate appraisals?
I do.
Okay, on the side. So you are a multi-business person.
Yeah.
How can you talk about that? Maybe juggling starting up a business as well as continuing working what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to do something, and the reason I ended up with this kind of store is because my kids didn't live here anymore, and I would want to send them a gift, and I wanted it to be the right gift, you know, a special gift, and I couldn't find what I wanted. So I didn't want to buy online and have it sent to them.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I ended up wanting to do a store. But I was thinking, okay, how am I going to do that and still appraise and keep my you know, business clients for the appraisal and still, you know. So I figured it out. I'm going to only be open from, at that time it was like 11 to 6. So I could do appraisals before 11, and then when customers weren't in the store, and then after 6. And it was exhausting.
Sure.
It was exhausting because I was the only one at the store.
Right.
And it was just, I worked really long days, every single day, 7 days a week for several years. And yeah, it was.
And so when did you open up Get Funky Gifts?
2010.
Okay.
Yep, and the strip mall across the parking lot.
Right.
And yeah,
And you were the only employee for how long?
a year.
A year. And so how did you decide to bring on some employees?
I wanted to go work out. And so, and
Priority, I mean,
yes,
right, yeah,
I was
you've done
too
it.
tired, and they closed, you know, where I wanted to go closed before I got off work. So I ended up hiring a gal, a high school gal, well, I guess maybe just out of high school, just to come in for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then that's all. But that was it was the first time, you know, that I wasn't working from 7 till midnight with no break. you know, and it was so nice.
I got a little taste of that.
Yes. Then very soon it was like, hey, you know, I think I should have you a little more,
Right.
and you know, kind of just
A little bit more
went
freedom
there.
and
yeah. Well, and then we moved over here, and when we moved over here, we decided to be open longer, and so I had that gal. She took on more time, and you have really cute shoes. Thank you. So yeah, just got over here, and we were open more, and so I had her more, and so it was just the two of us for maybe 6 months, and then we added another part-time because, you know, she didn't want to be here all the time. That, you know, but it was nice because I could be here and she was here, and I could still maybe get something done,
Sure.
appraisal-wise, or.
And how many employees do you have now?
At the moment, we have 4, all part-time, and all fabulous.
Good.
They are.
Good. It's tough to find, I'm sure. Some
is.
great employees, but
It is.
it's probably a blessing to have.
Oh God, yes. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. Just.
And how do you find your employees? Word of mouth?
You know what? I am always shopping for an employee when I go to anywhere. I don't care if I'm anywhere that is a business or a party or whatever, I'm always got my eye out. And I don't know how many times I'm in a store and I walk out going, not gonna steal that employee.
Right.
Because, you know, there's no customer service whatsoever. And how I found my second employee, I met her at the store she was working, and I watched her, and I thought she was fabulous. And so before I left, I gave her my card and just said, if you ever want extra hours, you know, give me a call. And she called like 3 hours later and was like, what do you have in mind? And she knew me. I didn't realize that she knew who I was, but she had been shopping in the store previously. And so, yeah, she was fabulous. But, you know, she ended up having a family and, you know, wanting to stay home.
Sure.
But yeah, that's how and I'm always, I don't know, if I have a really good waitress, I'm like, if you ever need
Here's
extra
my card.
hours,
Yeah,
yes.
all neat.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the store. I mean, where do you find all of these funky gifts? Or how do you come up with the ideas to get them?
It's a lot of work. I'm constantly searching websites that have fun, cool stuff. I mean, some of them just have outrageously fun, cool stuff, but they're way too expensive, or, you know, but it's fun to look at. And I think, okay, well, what could we get in that line, you know, that's something, I don't know. And so I'm just constantly searching. And then I have vendors that come and bring their catalogs, and we look through them, which is very time consuming. And I go to markets, and that's exhausting too. Everybody's like, oh my God, is that so fun? And it is.
Because it's like a small vacation mixed with work. Is that?
Yeah, well, you would think so. And I think it
That's
is
what
for
people
a lot
think,
of people.
right? Yeah.
I mean, but I'm so, I'm spending the money to go there, and I'm spending so I'm totally focused. I'm like there when it opens, and I'm there till it closes, and I'm, and I usually have someone with me, and by the end of that day, you've been standing and looking and thinking, and you got to ask every single time, it's like, okay, what's the price? How many do I have to get? What's your minimum order total? When would I have it shipped? All of that. And after 4 days of that, and you're standing in this, and you don't want to miss anything, because you might miss this really cool item.
Right. You don't want to take a break.
Yeah. I mean, we don't eat. We might eat as we're going.
Sure.
I'll grab something, like a vendor has some crackers or something, and then that night, some nights we have went back to the room, just brought our bags and our catalogs, and sat down on the bed and went, I can't move. And then we don't even, there's been times we were like, okay, let's order a pizza. And then, I don't know, an hour goes by and neither one of us had done it. And it's like, you know what, I'm not hungry, are you? Let's just go to bed. And everybody's like, oh my God, you were in Vegas. Did you go out? No, I couldn't.
Too tired.
Yes.
Yeah. So you also have some local stuff that you sell here.
I do,
right?
yes. We love our, we have tall Pauls, pickled asparagus and
There were some
and spicy
deals
carrots.
on Qneo for that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Those are really good and really popular. We sell a lot. We have local wines, or Iowa wines. One's from Humboldt and Layton, Iowa, and can't think of the name of the town. Carroll.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's fun to have those, and we have some fun stitched toilet paper that a gal from South Sioux does for us, and some jewelry that it's yeah. We have
There's literally a little bit of every kind of, from men, women, boys, girls, all kinds of different funky gifts. I mean, whenever I come in here, I see something new every time. So it's pretty interesting. I've always kind of wondered how you come up with those ideas. So.
Well, and I'm always wanting. Well, and before I opened the store, I was looking for something for my kids for, I don't know, Easter, something to send to them, and I had heard this store had cute stuff, and I went in, but it was all party girl stuff, and my daughter had finally gotten out of that stage, so I didn't want to send anything like that, and it was all girl stuff, so there was nothing for my son, and I thought,
He didn't want the party girl.
well, no, he might, but so anyway, I was just I was disappointed, and I was like, why? I said out loud, why can't Sioux City support something like that has more fun things? And I don't know, I repeated it a couple different times over a couple days to different people, and I don't know, I went home one night and I said, you know what, I'm doing it. And my husband said, yeah, I think that's a good idea, in a couple of years. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm doing it. And immediately I'm looking online, looking for a space, and and so within a month I had a space and started
really?
ordering, and it was like, let's go, I'm ready.
So from that time when you started looking, you got the space, and then how you got product to sell. How long did that take?
Well,
But I'll give them another one.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
let's see. I think
Fine. All right, thank you.
April I got the space, but I had to get it ready. So I had to, buy slat wall and paint and get the whole space ready. And then I had to buy displays and get them all put together. And I could have probably done it faster, but I'm still doing my appraisals. So I would work and then come to here, over there at like 7 o'clock at night, and then just as fast as I could put things together or paint or whatever till like 10 or 10:30, and then it was like, okay, I'm done, I gotta go home. So I think we opened August 2nd. And I had everything ready and did.
So I'm sure weekends were pretty full on getting it
Yeah.
ready, and then it just the 3 hours a night, and that's a
Yeah.
pretty quick
It was-
turnaround from when you decide,
Yeah.
and then getting everything in there and opening and shop. That's took
Yeah.
a lot of work.
And my husband was like, okay, you're not gonna, I'm like, no, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it now, and I can't wait, I was excited about it.
So maybe if you could give some advice to somebody that might be watching about starting their own business, they might think, where do I find the time? If I don't want to quit my job and go all in on an idea, but in your case, you're actually doing both businesses.
Honestly, if I'd have known that I would still be doing both 5.5 years later, I probably would have talked myself out of doing it, because my intent was I'll do it for a year. I'll do both for a year. Well, okay, I'll do it for 2 years. All right, one more year. But it's went long enough that now I'm like, I would miss appraising. I don't. My goal isn't to quit appraising. I enjoy it. I like the other appraisers. But if you wanted to do something like this, first of all, it takes way more money than you think. I would contact the Small Business Administration. They were a lot of help.
Okay.
Giving
Is
me
that
advice.
Todd? Do you know Todd Roush out there?
Well, it was a different. It was Dan Wobena when I was doing
Okay.
it. So yeah, it's a different person now. But I mean, then I had other businesses contact me, and retired local business owners that said, hey, if you have questions, call us. We're here to help, which is really nice. But it's. I wish if I could do it over, I would have learned I would have taken more classes on retail because I had no retail experience. So it was, it
And
was.
what would that teach you? For example?
Well, it first got, I just kept getting, looking at emails of, okay, how to display things and how to have the right amount of product. And then, okay, all the taxes and all the different government
Business
things
side
that
of
you
it,
have to do. Oh my God, I should have learned that before I started, because then when I'm in it and I've got 2 jobs and I'm, struggling along, and now I'm trying to do my, government stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I didn't even know, it was horrible. And I'm sure I made lots of mistakes. And then I ended up buying a package. It was an expensive retail package, but I learned from it. I had for the whole first year, there were sticky notes everywhere. After I started that and learned, I was like, okay, no sticky notes. I
Right.
need a notepad. And just that alone helped my organization, and it gave me, how to price, how to do inventory at the end of the year, how to train your salespeople, how to hire, how to book work.
Right.
I mean, it was a godsend. I wish I
So-
would have had the time to read it all before instead of trying getting home at night. And I'd shop online, looking for fun products, and then I would contact the companies and say, hey, will you sell to me? And till midnight, and then start the next day. And I mean, I did that for a couple of years, probably 3 years. So
So that's 3 years of working like that. I mean, I think that maybe if somebody is planning to start another business or go into business on their own, that they realize that it's not just, hey, in 3 months I'll be able to live on a beach
No.
and
well, and too,
and work
had
from
I
there.
taken the time to do those things, I just got impatient, and I think a lot of small business entrepreneurs do. You got this idea and you just can't wait.
Right.
But if I'd have taken the time to learn all those things beforehand, I could have taken a month to learn all that, and my whole first year would have been. My whole first 2 or 3 years would have been much,
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
And
I think there's something to say about learning from the book and then learning on the job. So I think that it maybe settles in a little bit more when you're dealing with your own money and your own business and you're learning that way, right? I think you're gonna catch on maybe quicker.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
but you're right. I think having a little bit of a background, or maybe do a little bit of research and knowledge.
Yeah.
Finding would help, and then it's finding that right time, right? I mean, a lot of people wait for the right time, and there really isn't any. So, if you would have waited a month, let's say, I mean, maybe you wouldn't have learned as quickly. Yeah,
I don't
who knows,
know.
right?
Either way,
But-
I think you're going to pay one way or the other. But I mean, if I would have not been so impatient, I could have done a little bit better. But maybe I just, even when they wanted small business administration, they're like put together, all this information, and they wanted to know who's your clientele. Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, what are you, this or that? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, and then like, okay, here's a template. I don't know the answers to any of these things. It was like a total blank, and I was like, finally, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that because I don't have any of the answers. And
Okay,
now
so
I
it was
get
like a
it.
little bit of the stubborn was like, I have this idea, it's gonna work, I'm gonna make it work. Rather than like, okay, let me just hone in on making the
Figure
idea.
out easy answers. No, I don't know. What's your price point? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All price points.
Well, hey, it worked, right? I mean, you're up and running, you've got a nice big store here with a lot of interesting things. And so what's your, I gotta ask, what's your favorite thing that you sell? Do you have a favorite?
Well, it changes. Just because whenever I find something really cool and then I'm like, oh my God, we're getting these, and it's going to be so fun, and I'm so excited about it, and then a month later or 2 weeks later or something else, I found something and I'm like, oh my God, you guys can
That's
love
the new
this.
favorite thing.
So, and we do. I mean, we all just have, I think the frappe is a big thing for me. I wasn't a wine drinker, and so that kind of got me started, and it makes it a fun little drink, and it's, you know, something you can have in the freezer. I really like things that make our life easier.
Sure.
But
I think a lot of people will agree with you.
so I like that, yeah, food, dips, you know, things like that. But I also, you know, I like to laugh, and you know, I'm kind of, I think you can have Christian things and you can have humor, and it doesn't have to be two separate stores. I mean, for me, I like both. So we have both, and you know, I just see something funny, and you're like, oh my God, that's hysterical! I gotta have that. And, you know, but then there's
So you
those.
add it. Yeah, you add it, and then it makes, you're changing up the store. It's kind of nice. It's not the same stuff.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
rotating.
all the time. There's very little we keep regularly, which makes it tough too, because point of sale systems, you put in all this information. We don't have one, but part of the reason we don't is because you know, that's kind of for stores that you repeat the same merchandise, and we have very little. It's like, okay, had that. There's so many cool things out there in the world. I can't have them all, so that's out, and we're getting this, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, good. Was there anything else you want to add? Maybe to tell people to stop on down, or where can we find you?
We are across from Red Lobster in Sioux City. There's a new fairway. It's a fabulous fairway, by the way. And we're in the same strip mall with them. And Harbor Freight, we get a lot of people from Sioux Falls that come down to Harbor Freight, and the wife comes in here, and the guy goes there. And
Perfect.
yeah, it works out good. And yeah, no, I think I just would like to say thank you to all the customers that we have, because we have the best customers. Seriously, they are so loyal. They are so, they get an idea if they're you know, visiting their grandkids in some other state and they see something really cool, they come in and they're like, Wendy, you should get this, you know, and it's like, oh my God, how'd you find that? You know, so I mean, that's a huge help too, you know, it's just, so yeah.
It's good to have
thank
good
you.
people around. Yeah.
Absolutely, and my staff.
Great.
I mean,
Awesome.
couldn't do it without them.
Good to hear. Good to hear that things are going well, and I want to say thank you for sitting down with us. And you can also find some deals on Qneo from time to time. I know we've had there's the dip that it's actually right behind you there.
Yeah.
I've been looking at it here and there, just trying to figure out which one I want to get. And then some wipes and stuff. And you mix it up in there too. You've had jewelry deals and stuff like that. So
Yep,
So
and
be
good
on the
luck to you
lookout.
too. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I think it's
Yeah.
fabulous. You know, I've been approached by other, you know, ones that are national,
Mm-hmm.
and haven't even thought twice. But you know, a local one. I mean, I kind of, you know, I've always been a buy local kind of person. You know, you can't always find what you want local, but if you can,
Right.
you know, and so to have somebody local that's, you know, working with all the small businesses to, you know, promote them. I think we should all support you, and you should, you know, support us.
Definitely. Well, that's exactly what we're about and how we feel. So I thank you. Thank you for that.
No,
It means
yeah.
a lot. Good. Well, so yeah, look for Get Funky on Qneo, and come in and say hi to Wendy and check out all the great things she has here.
Yeah, come in. Come in right now.
Right, literally right now. Come in. All right, thanks, Wendy.
Thank you. Bye.